Hey, we're back. We're back. Let's just get right into it. You saw the title. You saw the thumbnail. Maybe. I'm reviewing 10 different mangas. So how I did this was also it's starting to rain. If you hear the rain, I'm sorry. It'll make the video more chill. It's fine. How I did this was I literally just took a random number generator, gave all my manga a number, like 1 through like 150 of the amount of manga I read and own. I just spun that wheel 10 times until I landed on 10 manga that I haven't reviewed that I've read, which is a surprising amount of manga. So it really just took like 12 tries. It didn't take like anything. So we're just gonna start with it with our first manga. By the way, also I usually do this worst to best. So this is my least favorite manga. That's part of the 10, and then the final manga will be my favorite. I don't know if that's like a good idea. I don't know. First we have Go Loser Ranger. So actually, there are two manga I picked out that I wanted to review because the animes are coming out this season. You'll actually see it later. It's Windbreaker and this one. I just don't like Go Loser Ranger very much. The writing is just so not for me. Like it's just not great. The art is okay, and I'm just not interested in the world at all. The main character is just like insufferable for most of the manga, and there's just a lot of scenes that I just can't get behind that make sense at all. It's fine. It's a good manga, don't get me wrong. Like the premise is still really, really good. All the Power Rangers have interesting designs and I really love the dynamics, but other than that, there's just not much substance to it, I would say. A lot of the characters just kind of feel like filler characters or characters you would just see in other manga and other mediums. Like they're like none of these characters feel original or characters that feel unique. I really just feel like I'm watching an AI generated or I'm reading an AI generated, piece of fiction, which isn't really what you want. um, but I would say that this manga does have its plus. Like I said, the like Power Rangers themselves are really interesting and really cool. I love how it is. I love the premise, like the premise of just the Power Rangers, but the boys. I honestly wish instead of fighters like the grunts, it was just a random dude who like saw one of the Power Rangers like fuck up a monster really really badly, and then he joined like other people, like kind of literally just the boys. I kind of just wish it was like that, instead of like a fighter, whatever, a fighter like just comes down or whatever. Yeah, like I just don't really like the fact that it's a fighter, but the premise is still really really good, and the character dynamics between all the other Power Rangers is really good. And actually, by volume 7, we're actually getting into an interesting arc, that I'm pretty excited about. So, it's like okay. It's 6 out of 10 probably. Next, we have a bit of a better one, I would say. We have Yomotsuhegi, the Tree of Death. The Tree of Death. I thought it was the Tree of Life. The Tree of Death, Yomotsuhegi. I think that's how you pronounce it. This is just like a really like well drawn manga. I won't even say like well written. It is like it's fine written, wise. Like it's good, but just the art is so good, bro. It's some of the best art I've ever seen in manga. Like, hold on, let me show you. See if I can find a panel of of just the art and how good it is. Like this right here. Look at this, bro. This looks incredible. Like just looking at it is so awesome, and the world is so interesting. It's like the Demon Slayer of manga, Like it has a simple enough premise and like good enough characters that the art can just elevate it on such a high level. But like Demon Slayer with anime. But this is like the Demon Slayer manga. If that makes sense. I don't know if that makes like any sense at all. But like there's definitely some negatives. There's not really anything noteworthy about this manga. The characters are fine. The premise is interesting enough to carry, a 3-volume manga. I've only read 1 volume, but I can I can tell. The pacing is okay. The character designs are okay. The writing is pretty average. The art just elevates it so much. And also the premise is not bad. Really do like the idea of a cop, his, daughter dies or whatever, or his family dies from this one guy, and so now his entire mission is just to kill people with, like, who have immortality. That's like his entire mission now, is to kill people who have immortality and who are like doing bad things. That is really, really cool. Yeah, this is just a super, super sick manga, honestly. This is just such a cool manga. But, there's some better stuff. Next, we have Soul Eater. I read the first 5 volumes, well, not the first 5 volumes, but the first 5 of these volumes, because there's singular volumes and then there's these bigger ones. This is honestly just a great manga. Like, there's not much to say about it. I think it is a very, like, overall a great manga, but there's nothing really stand out. I think probably the most thing that stands out in this manga is the world. The world is very, like, Nightmare Before Christmas, very just, there's skulls and Halloween shit everywhere, and it's super, super cool. Like, it is, like, a great atmosphere. Like, the moon is just freaking terrifying. Like, crazy how that's, like, the moon, bro. Like, oh, what? The characters are also just really fun. I really like how the characters are just, like, friends. Like, there's, like, an entire, like, 2 or 3 chapters of, like, the main characters studying and taking a test. Like, that is, like, the entirety of 2-3 chapters, and it's enjoyable. Like, the characters are, like, fun, and they hang out together, and they're actually friends, and they vibe with each other. Like, that's so, like, they have chemistry with each other. That's really, really great. The power system is very good as well. It's very interesting. I like how to actually use the powers, you kind of have to, like, vibe with the other person. That's pretty interesting idea. Again, like, the writing is okay. I would say the comedy for me doesn't really land very well. Honestly, I watched a little bit of the anime, and I think the anime with the comedy lands a bit more just because the voice acting is a lot funnier. And yeah, I mean, this is just a really good manga. I think the only thing that holds it back is its story. The story so far is, like, pretty bland, and it doesn't feel like anything's happening. It's honestly a very linear story, and I kind of wish it was a more, like, connected, like, thought out story, when a lot of chapters are just, like, 2 characters going on a mission and going to do this or whatever. It could definitely be shortened a bit, just making it more linear. All right, next we have maybe an unpopular opinion. I don't really know. I don't really care either. Yeah, this is definitely up here. We have Windbreaker. I just love Windbreaker. It's so good. Like, it's really, really good. I just love it. I just really, really like it. I don't really know what to say. I don't think I need to say much. If by chance, if you're watching this video, you've probably already watched the anime. By the time I'm filming this, episode 8, like, just came out, I think. And I'm really excited to see the animation for that. Like, it's gonna be really good. But yeah, Windbreaker is great. It has fantastic character designs, just a really good plot. I love, like, a reverse delinquent story where the delinquents are actually good people. I love the main character and his ideology. I love all the themes in the story. My 2 favorite fights are, like, the one in the arc in the anime, Shishitoran, I think they're called. I don't fucking remember. But yeah, this story is just overall really, really solid, I would say. There's nothing really to complain about, I would say. Maybe, like, most of the characters are pretty basic. I mean, I heard a great thing someone said where it's like every character is kind of just an emoji. Like, really, like, most characters kind of have, like, 1, 2, or 3 emotions that they experience. None of them are really, like, thought out or, well written, I would say, or nuanced, I guess. But they're all just super, super fun and likable. Especially, like, in the newer volumes, we just got introduced to some characters, like this orange-haired guy and this pink-haired guy, and they're just super, super fun. And it is a really nice time to just see the main character develop and, like, get friends and become less socially awkward, and it's just nice. It's just a nice story. And also the art and action are really, really good. It's really easy to see like punches flying and kicks flying. It's so easy to see the choreography. It's so good. Next, we have a Shuzo Shimi work. There's like 2 Shuzo Shimi works, I think. This is the first one. Flowers of Evil. It's like great. It's very like, don't worry, you'll see this in my manga log video. It's very Mysterious Girlfriend X, but 30 times better. Yes. It's like, if you've ever read that, it's like, there's some disgusting shit in this manga. Like, if you don't want to read disgusting shit, don't read this. But it is so thought-provoking and so, like, uncomfortably relatable, kind of. Honestly, if you're a girl, don't read this. Like, that's not even me being sexist. That's like, this caters to a demographic. And it's definitely not women. If you're a woman, you like this. It's fine. But if you're a woman, you like this, good for you. But I'm just saying, like this is just the most disgusting thing I've ever. Well, killing stalking is looking me right in the face. But one of the most disgusting things I have ever read. It's such a just weird look into a middle schooler's mind, and it's so interesting. This manga is the equivalent of like a car crash, like a bloody car crash that you can't look away from. It's such an interesting take on like middle schoolers being pretentious that like I've never seen before, and it's honestly just terrifying and horrific. It's giving me goosebumps on so many levels. But yeah, that's all I have to say about Flowers of Evil. It's just really, really good. I would say, like, even just looking through this manga, I re-experienced emotions I felt while reading this, and I physically had to close it, being like, I don't even want to talk about this anymore. You know what? We're just gonna go to the next one. Next, we have Azadora. I don't know how you pronounce this. This is honestly just fantastic manga. It's just really well written. Like a manga, great characters, a likable cast, that's the same thing. Really good art, like some solid art. I really do think Naruki Urasawa really develops his art here, especially with a lot of the planes and stuff. It looks really, really good. And like when they introduce the kaiju, like in some scenes they'll like show a kaiju. It is very, very good. Like, the art is incredible. I should probably, like, if you have never heard of these manga, I should probably, like, tell a synopsis of these manga. I haven't done that. This is about, like, a girl, her mom, or her, like, family dies in a kaiju accident. There's, like, kaijus, or a kaiju. And I think her mom dies or something in that accident. And she wants to basically find out, like, basically uncover the kaiju, but she also gets like really into planes or something. I think that's the synopsis. I wish they had like, usually on the back of manga they'll have like no, it doesn't. Okay, usually on the back of the manga it'll be, it'll say like a synopsis. This one doesn't. Whatever, but it's still like a fantastic manga. I will say like the one negative I have, and the reason I have three or four other manga above this, is just the fact that the pacing is so slow. Like, I literally cannot, like, reread this manga at all. Like, there's so many manga in here. I know I say I don't like to reread stuff, and that's true. There's so many manga in here. I'll go back and I revisit moments. Like, I literally think there was an afternoon where I almost read 95% of Slam Dunk just because I wanted to relive it. I read, like, 95% of it. But when I was reading this, or when I tried to go back to it, I could not get into it at all. When I first read it, I was enjoying the hell out of it. It was so good. But coming back to it, the pacing is just so slow. Like I just can't get into it at all. But all the characters are likable. Well, most of the characters are likable. The art is really good. The story. Oh my god, I didn't even talk about the story. The story is really well developed. just there's so many things about this manga, and there's so many different moving parts that really work in tandem. Like, it's incredible. Next, we have a manga that is probably a bit too high. I honestly couldn't explain to you why I like this manga so much, but it is just so fantastic. It's Tokyo Revengers. Now, I will admit, Tokyo Revengers has so many problems. Like, the main character is pretty insufferable at times. He's really good at times, but pretty insufferable. And the fact that he's kind of dating a middle schooler is a bit weird. It's like, I don't even want to explain it because it's going to feel like I'm defending it. I'm not. It's like the weirdest thing because he's not really dating a middle schooler as a 40-year-old man. He's dating a middle schooler as a middle schooler. But it's so weird. Also, there's a lot of like plot holes and the time travel just at some points it's like incredibly creative and I love it. And at others, it just doesn't make any sense at all. And a lot of the characters are pretty one note. Like, Mikey is the greatest example for he's happy or he's mad. And that's really it. There's just not a lot going through this manga, like, on paper. But for some reason, I love the shit out of this manga. This manga is so good. It is just so enjoyable. All the characters are enjoyable. Like, just the fights are incredible. The pacing, the paneling is so good. I love the shit out of them. I can't get enough of it. And I heard that the arc I'm about to hit, like, I stopped at a point because I heard the arc I'm about to get into is the best arc in Tokyo Revengers. And there's just so many, like, moments that, like, are so well written, just hit me to my core. Like, the death of, like, there's a main character who died in one of the arcs. It's so good, and it's so sad. And then just a backstory for another character is so sad. It, like, there's just such a good, like, domino effect of events happening where it doesn't feel unbelievable that they're happening. And it's just such a good, like, continuation of the story. I can't express enough how well it does that. It does remind me a lot of Haikyuu, where Haikyuu will do this thing where it'll, like, have a training arc and it'll set up 15, 20, whatever, different tiny little character arcs that in the big matches are finished, but they're so tiny you don't realize it. And until it gets to a point, every single character is using their new move, and it's incredible. That's like the same thing with Tokyo Revengers, where there's just so many tiny little things being built up, and at the climactic moment, it's all just used, and it's incredible. Next, I didn't really have like an ending point there. 3 manga left, by the way. Next, we have Happiness. I've read this entire thing. I've read all of Happiness. This is really just, in my opinion, Flowers of Evil, but better. The ending is really just the ending for me. The ending is so cinematic. I love the ending. Looking back, I think I should have this a bit lower, maybe. I just like it way too much than it deserves, honestly. I give it way too much than it needs to. It is just a really good take on a vampire story. It's not a love story. It's not like a love vampire story that you'd see in Twilight. But it's also not like a creepy 1500s or like BC Dracula type story. It's like very in the middle with certain characters, and it's really, really good. A lot of the characters are really fleshed out, and there's so many moments that are just so filled with despair. Not to Danganronpa here, but I hate Danganronpa. Oh my, don't even get me started on how much I hate Danganronpa. They're just so filled with despair and malice, and it's so tragic that you can't help but feel bad for most of the cast. And I do feel that almost every single character gets development, but not in a way that feels forced. Like, a big problem I had with A Silent Voice, and it's still like a really great, like, 9 out of 10 manga. Big problem I had with A Silent Voice was it really unorganically fleshed out a lot of its characters, like especially towards the end, like 3 or 4 or 5 different characters got fleshed out by giving them backstories, and it just felt so unorganic, and it just stopped the pacing like so like abruptly. It just wasn't good at all. This manga does a great job at just doing that, but like organically. Like it doesn't give characters backstories, but it gives like little things where a character will do a certain action, and it just entails you on what they're thinking and how they act. Like, it is a very good example of every single word matters. And a lot of stuff that Shuzo Oshimi does with his manga that I really appreciate is letting the panels speak for themselves. It's something that I appreciate a lot of my manga, and I do hate it when I turn a page and it's just all words, because you can use the visual medium to your liking. You can use art to help you explain shit. You don't have to just write it all down, you know? But it is like a super fantastic manga about vampires that I do recommend. It does remind me a lot of Tokyo Ghoul as well. I do think they're very similar in premise and characters and a lot of things. So if you like the aspect of Tokyo Ghoul where it's not really the mystery aspect of Tokyo Ghoul, there's like 2 main plot points. It's the mystery, and then also the main character like finding himself as a ghoul. If you like that part, you'll love Happiness. Trust me. Next, we have another manga that really surprised me, especially around where I'm at. I think I'm on volume 8, or volume 7 or 8. Really surprised me, and that's Mob Psycho 100. It's like really good. It's like incredibly good. I did not enjoy. I enjoyed it. It was fine. I thought it was like a 5, 6 out of 10. The first 3 volumes. I know. Will it Mob Psycho 5, 6 out of 10? Listen, okay, bear with me. I did not enjoy it, like, at all. It's not the characters were annoying and basic. Nothing was going on. It just felt like, it literally just felt like nothing was happening in the story. And then I took Mob Psycho for granted, and they introduced one of the craziest moments I have, like, maybe not one of the craziest moments, but a fantastic moment that I've read in manga, where the author builds up this character of, I think his name's Retsu, Mob's brother. He builds him up, like, how he wants to get these powers. He works with Dimple. He works with this other society, and you can tell that he wants powers. And at the time when I was reading it, I was like, where is this leading to? You know, is he gonna get powers? And I thought it was gonna lead to like an emotional moment between him and his brother, where they're like, hey, I'm jealous of you because I have powers. I thought it was gonna be something like that, but no, he gets powers. And I'm like, okay, he has power. What's happened now? I didn't expect this. And then he starts using those powers, and he starts bullying other people, and you're like, wait, what's happening here? And you're just like, no, wait, why are you doing this? But in your brain, you're like, I get it 100%. It's such a relatable feeling, and I understand it so much on why he's doing these actions. And you're like, bro, like this thing right here could be the worst thing that happens after this, you know? And that doesn't make any sense. But he's bullying these people, and he's bullying so many other people, and he's beating everybody up. It's like, why is he doing this? But I know why he's doing this. I just don't want it to happen. That's what it is. I don't want it to happen. And then you see Mob, the main character, find this out and see it, and you're just like, fuck. This is good writing right here. I think what makes Mob Psycho so good is it's able to organically create such fantastic conflict, just not even out of thin, like, it makes such organic conflict between characters that feels so realistic. It's some of the most, like it's probably the best of that out, like, my entire manga collection. Like, I mean, yeah, there's some really good ones in my manga collection. This one is one of the best that does that. It is so good. Like, I can't explain this enough. How fantastic this manga really is. Also, it's just really funny. Like, it's just really funny. What's his name? Reagan? Probably my favorite character. No, actually, probably it's Mob or Retsu or Dimple. Dimple's really good too. But you're probably asking, why is this not number one? Well, first, the number one pick is, I think it got into my top 15 manga of all time, probably. I think it did, actually. I think it did. And two, the art is not good. Like, this is one of the only manga I will say, and I don't really like to say that art is, like, good or bad, because one, I can't draw for shit, and two, art is subjective. But, like, come on, look at these panels, bro. You cannot tell me this is good art, bro. You cannot tell me. This lacks the basic fundamentals of art. And I don't know shit about art. So, you know, and there's some good panels here that, like, I literally just turned up on one that was like, oh, this is a good panel, you know. Maybe not well drawn, but it's, like, a good panel. But, yeah, there's, like, so many, like, just the art is so bad. Like, I can't even get used to it. It's just not good. Alright. Finally, the number one pick. And you might be wondering what this is. You might not be wondering what this is. I also want to finish this by the 30-minute mark. I don't want to go too crazy with it. It's Monster. Monster is the number one pick for these 10 random manga. It's in my top 15 manga of all time. It's so good. The story is so amazing. I don't want to talk about it here much, but if you follow my Twitter account, or I guess my X account, if you follow my X account, I did like a giant ass thread of how I felt about this manga. You can go read that. I'll put it in the description. I'll put my account. If you really, you know, care about how I felt about this manga. It's just so good. It's just so good. The characters written incredible. The themes, the story is so tightly knit, and it's so like there's some points when it's so slow paced and so fast paced, and it does it so well. It can switch between those moments really well. There's also like plenty amount of emotional moments. I think that is one of its biggest weaknesses, like as a manga, that it's probably in my opinion, its biggest weakness, and why it's not like top 10. The emotional moments just don't hit that much for me. When there's I don't like this. I do love spoiling stuff, but I understand people don't want to be spoiled. One of the characters dies at like around the end, and that was probably the saddest death for me. Didn't cry. It was sad. Don't get me wrong. I was heartbroken, and it was fantastically written. It was so well written. I don't know why. Maybe it's because of the art. The art maybe wasn't doing it for me. That's another, not a big problem I have with this manga, but a tiny little complaint is the manga isn't incredible. Like, I really just don't think the art suits this manga very much, I guess. Like, the tone and the art don't really suit each other very well. There are, like, a lot of moments where it does, but there's just, like, times when I just don't really care very much just because of the art. As well, there's like sometimes when like there would be like chapters where none of the main characters are in it, or only one main character is in it, and it's a bunch of new characters, and it's only for like 2 to 3 chapters, and I don't care. I like don't care. There's like, if you actually counted the amount of characters that were in this manga, it would be so many. There's so many characters. Like, it's crazy how many characters are in this manga that just don't need to be in there. Like, there's so many chapters you can just take out that don't need to be in there. But I mean, those chapters do help, like, with the theme of the manga and different themes that are played around with it, and they are good. Like, I'm not saying they're bad or anything. It's just, you know, it brought it down a little bit for me. So that was reviewing. Hold on, let me get this. 10 different manga. I enjoyed all these, by the way. All these manga I enjoy. There's just a couple I enjoy more. Like Monster. Monster is very good. It fucks. It does fuck. Alright. We'll see you guys later. Next video will probably be the manga log. and then maybe a manga haul, and then maybe the actual reading your guys' recommendations. I wanted to get through that entire thing for this month. Couldn't do it. I'm like halfway through and it's the end of the month. So that's definitely not happening. All right. I'll see you guys later. Bye.